Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. Today, Laura, Paula, and me who's talking, Paula Alejandra, are going to talk about the Reggio Emilia model of education. So enjoy it.
Hi everyone. First of all, we are going to define the Reggio Emilia model education. So, the Reggio Emilia model is an educational philosophy and pedagogy focused on preschool and primary education. This approach is a student centered and constructivist self guiding curriculum. Therefore, its program is based on the principles of respect, responsibility, and community through exploration, discovery, and play. In addition to that, this approach has a background concentrated on the belief that children are naturally rich in potential, strength, curiosity, and full of energy. This model assumes that children form their own personality during the early years of development. Thus, the aim of the Reggio approach is to teach children how to use symbolic languages, such as painting, sculpting, or even drama in everyday life. It is important to say that this approach was developed after World War II by pedagogist Loris Malaguzzi and some parents in the villages around Reggio Emilia, Italy. Therefore, the name of the approach belongs to the name of the city. Now we will see the principles and premises of Reggio Emilia approach. First, a child's powerful image is the foundation of Reggio Emilia philosophy. In that way, children are viewed as competent, curious, full of knowledge, potential, and able to connect to the world around them. Educators and adults in general don't see children as empty and demanding individuals. Instead, they see a potential child like the protagonist and as an active builder of knowledge. Second, the environment as the third teacher. Here, the classroom environment acts as a living organism, a place of shared relationships among children, teachers, parents, and feeling of belonging in a world that is alive, welcoming, and authentic. Then, pedagogical documentation is a critical component of communication. Teachers use the process of documenting their practice and the children's responses to explore their own teaching and to generate questions about children's learning process. It means that documentation makes children learning skills, strategies, processes, and understandings visible. It is shared with children and families to enable them to interpret it, reflect upon, evaluate, and construct the meaning of experiences. It also shows children to look back on their own experiences too. Schools can restore documentation in various forms, such as pictures, films, or notes. Another point is that parents are partners in education. Parents should always be invited to play an active role in their child's learning experiences as well as help to ensure the welfare of children. Parents' skills and ideas are very valuable, and their involvement is critical to the creation of a learning community for children. The final item relates to the concept of the 100 languages. This means that children are natural communicators, thus, they should be encouraged to communicate through whatever means they can. This may include words, movements, drawings, paintings, sculptures, and so on. Because of the many ways that children express, discover, and learn, children should be encouraged to use many materials for discovery, to communicate, and demonstrate what they understand, question, feel, or even what they are imagining. About the view of learning in Reggio Emilia approach, we can state that children are able to construct their own learning. Each child is individually the one who proposes and creates his or her interactions with the surrounding environment. So children are the main initiators of the learning process. They are inspired by their own interest to know and learn. In other words, children should be treated as active collaborators in their education as opposed to passive observers. A second point is that children are collaborators and learn through interaction within their communities. Learning is based on interrelationships. In this model, there is a close interaction between teachers, parents, and children. As indicated, children are collaborators and work best when included in a community as opposed to working individually. Another one is that teachers, parents, children relationship is collaborative in the learning process, as I said before. About the Reggio Emilia training, children will learn through interaction with their surrounding relationships, especially the interactions between them and their parents, teachers, and classmates, in which, as I said before, parents will have a primary collaborative role and have close relationships with teachers and schools to help children in learning. For instance, schools that apply this Reggio Emilia philosophy can organize events for parents and students, let parents participate in theater performances with children, or even share experiences with parents to support the education process.
Hi everyone, I am Alejandra, and now we are going to talk about the role of the teacher in the Reggio Emilia model of education. The first thing that I have to mention, and one of the most interesting ones, is that here teachers are not instructors or guides, at least completely. It means that in this model, teachers are co-learners, so they actually learn from their students, being collaborators and partners to the children. And to start, a very particular fact about this model is that the teachers have a certain autonomy. That means that they are not told what to do with their students. They don't have imposed mandates, teacher manuals, or tests to rule their classrooms. In that way, they are free to do what they consider is the best for their students and for them in order to improve their development and learning process. It is like a freedom, and that freedom requires a big sense of creativity and, well, attending to the student needs and interests. And well, next we have that since both parts, students and teachers, have an active role in this learning process, they have a mutual participation in all the activities and projects. So we can see that teachers are not only in charge of creating and thinking about the development of those activities, but they have also to pay attention to children when they are going through it and solve any question or problem that they could have in the process of the activity. At last, we have a very interesting item, and it is related to partnership and observation. Well, when talking of partnership, we have that all people who have to do with the children's learning process have to collaborate in order to do the right thing and improve it. That means that parents and teachers in general have to talk to lean on them when teaching stuff to kids. If we consider that they not only learn at school, but at home and everywhere. Actually, this model considers that children learn from everything. So that's really interesting, and they have to complement each other's to be successful, to have successful children. That is to say, parents and teachers generally. On the other hand, if we talk about observation, the role of the teacher is also to be a researcher. That is to say, that the teacher has to pay attention to the students, know how they are doing, what they need to improve, and so on. Then they plan the best strategy to help them apply it and realize if it worked or not. In that way, teachers will also learn because they will figure out the best way to help their students to learn with them and to know how to guide this process in a very good way. Now let's talk about the role of the student in the Reggio Emilia model of education. Here we have to take into account that the students or children are conceived as serious individuals who have a huge learning potential. They are very powerful people who can learn by interacting with the environment and through experiences. And well, since they are really strong individuals who are like sponges, because the Reggio Emilia model understands children as knowledge bearers, that means that they are always open to learn things from everything. Well, in that way, there is no reason for them to have a passive role in their learning process. In fact, they have a very active position, which takes us to the next item. This next item is about experience. And well, this model of education states that children learn through that, through experience, which means touching, moving, listening, observing, researching, creating. Well, everything related with doing things by themselves. And that is a very important component because, as I said before, children are like sponges. They learn from their surroundings, a reason why they should have a lot of materials, objects, and things to work with. Well, this for them to have enough stimulus to get from it, the environment, as much as possible, as much as they can. In addition to that, in this model, children are conceived as very important human beings who deserve to be heard. In this way, their opinions and thoughts are very important and have to be taken into account by their teachers, parents, and others. In this model, children are very valuable persons. They should be respected, and that is important for them to develop as a whole and well, to have a good conception of themselves, improving their security and self-esteem. At last, it is very important that children have the opportunity to get in touch and get to know other children. So, developing this social domain, they will be able to develop others at the same time. It actually is the same with materials and their surroundings. In that way, they should be able to research and get related with nature, with animals, and with different kinds of games and activities that will enrich their learning process.
Now we are going to talk about the vision of classroom. According to the Reggio Emilia approach, the environment has a relation between architecture and pedagogy, and it has a relation between architects, designers, and teachers in order to create beautiful, attractive, and innovative schools. This approach school seeks to provide children with a dynamic and functional environment made to measure. The spaces are designed according to their size and needs. They allow interactions. Therefore, each school is different. Also, there are many common aspects such as methodology, didactics, collaboration, teamwork, family integration, and above all, confidence in the capacity of children. Now, material used. Through the materials used, children observe, experiment, analyze, and draw conclusions. In short, they learn. Through them, the materials are introduced in the different types of activities: the night table, the compositions, the constructions, and the handmade. There are two types of materials: natural and disposal. Now we are going to talk about the role of materials. The teachers are the ones in charge of looking for the materials to guide the children towards the didactic objectives, and of course, the ones responsible for presenting them in orderly, attractive, and motivated way. Because order and beauty are fundamental factors. For example, order. They are always presented, the materials, in an order that invites children to take care of them. And beauty, it is an activating element of learning, understanding such beauty from simplicity and order. Now, we are going to talk about benefits. There is an emphasis on the importance of the community for the education of children, bringing teachers and parents together, the learning journey. Now develops the investigative spirit and curiosity in children. Another one is the collaborative environment allows children to learn from others. Now, we are going to talk about disadvantages. The main criticism of the approach is that it is not a formal model with defined methodology, which makes it difficult for teachers to know how to implement it and that the classrooms are something chaotic. It is focused on only for preschoolers and toddlers. It is not available for older students, okay? Hi everyone, this is Laura, and I would like to give you my opinion about Reggio Emilia methodology because I consider that the Reggio Emilia methodology is an educational proposal which I consider very good since it proposes that children can learn through observation and there develop their creativity. I would like to implement this method in my classroom since it is a philosophy that is carried out by the people who are part of the daily life of the children, such as parents, us, the educators, the teachers, and the children themselves. Besides, it is very interesting to see and experiment this method, which includes parents. This is very different. So, the Reggio Emilia methodology is an experimental teaching method based on the all of members who are part of the learning process of our children. So, in this process, we can see that the child will be a protagonist of the whole environment. The teacher only is a guide. The importance of the space, the environment, family is so crucial. Parents take an active role in children learning experiences and help ensure the well-being of children in school. We can also as teacher document the experiences, and I think that the fundamental objective that I would like to implement would be to create an active school where research and reflection predominate, always within a suitable and proper environment that facilitates relations between the school and the family so that the well-being of the child is possible. And that's all. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Paula Camacho. I am going to share with you my opinion about Reggio Emilia model of education. I would like to say that the fact that children's perspectives, thoughts, and abilities can be seen and valued in this model of education gives education the opportunity to develop critical thinking in the schools and with that in the whole society. By the time children feel their voices can be listened and they can create an impact in their surroundings, they feel encouraged to continue doing that and to become agents of change. Throughout the time, children have not been able to participate in many activities and in many discussions because they are seen like people without the enough level of consciousness about reality. Actually, adults have forbidden children to talk about certain topics because it is not appropriate, it is not respectful, or just it is a taboo. An example of this is the politics or the religion. So let children to talk about these topics and not just set them up with adults' ideologies, limitations, and points of view. Is very valued to create in children the need to investigate, to ask, to discover, and to be critical. As a second point, I would like to say that this approach attends perfectly to the emotional domain in children's development, since it involves the importance of parenting in the process of learning in children. This approach is also a solution to some issues in nowadays in which there is not a family quality time, or there is a disconnection between family and schools. It also is highly accurate with our current situation, COVID-19, in which parents are following the whole process of learning of their children through the technological devices. So here, Reggio Emilia approach can be a key for parents to connect better with their children and better with education.
I am Alejandra, and today I'm going to give you my personal opinion about the Reggio Emilia model of education. Well, at first, I think that it shares like many different aspects with the Montessori model, but okay, I'm going to give you just the opinion I have about the Reggio Emilia model of education. At first, I have to say that I really like the way they talk about children and how they conceive them as individuals with huge potential, with many possibilities, like really intelligent beings. Sorry, and I really like that because as I was explaining some weeks ago, this is not time to think or conceive children as humans that only receive knowledge. We have to think about them as human beings, as people who are really empowered and that can learn from their environment. So I really love that, and how they make sure that the teacher and the whole school environment is full of respect to the children. So if we give them respect, we are gonna receive the same respect. The second idea about this model that I really liked, that I really enjoyed, was about collaboration and cooperation. I think that it's really important in a children's education, not to give like all the tasks or all the responsibility for their development like to one part, let's say to teachers or only home. They are really learning from everything like sponges. So it is important that all parts in this learning process cooperate and collaborate to do their best and to help children to do their best as well. So I think it is really good that they really talk to each other and try to improve all the times. I think it's really enriching, and it will help children a lot. Thing that I liked about this model is that children learn by doing, and it's really important because sometimes parents or teachers want to do everything for them, like not to be hurt or not to I don't know, have like any risk or something. And well, I understand that we always want to protect our children, but it's really important to let them discover the world they are living in, because that's how they are going to learn. So I found really interesting the way they have freedom to choose the materials, the objects, and the activities they want to do to learn. And I think that's something really similar to the last model that we were talking about, the Montessori model. But I think that's it, that they have to live to learn, and we have to let them do it by themselves, because that's how everyone's learning. You see the shape of a tree and you learn that that's the way they grow up. And the same with many different objects from nature and from the world. So I think it's really important, that part, and I really enjoy that. The last thing that I want to talk about is the freedom that teachers have. It is like really interesting to me, because in most of the schools, in maybe most of the models, the teachers always have a guide to follow, um, for them to know what to do in the classrooms, what to do with children, what to learn. And this time in this model, I have found that teachers have this freedom of choice to do whatever they want in the classroom with activities. Of course, they are kind of like guides to children, even if they are going to choose what they want to learn. But I found that having no manuals, no books, or no, let's say, rules for them to follow is improving the creativity of children and teacher as well, because both can collaborate, as I said before, to do their material and to work for them to do better in all ways of development. So I found it really good. I think I'm going to, I don't know, try to work on my creativity in the future, to try to involve as many aspects of this model as I can. And I think that's it. I really enjoyed doing this activity, and I hope that you have liked this video. Thank you so much.